Probably not today though. It's the flattest road stage this side of Madrid, 167 kilometres setting out from Rota, taking the race north and east to Seville for the intermediate sprint, and then out to the finish at Alcala de Guadaira for what should be another on a bit of an uphill drag. Perfect territory, you would think, for Peter Sagan's second stage win of the Vuelta.
Under the 10k banner then for the peloton as they continue to hunt down the lone man up front, Ilio Kaiser, who'll be getting all the information in his ear, and every time he looks over his right shoulder or his left shoulder, he will see now that the bunch is bearing down on him. They'll have made eye contact, they'll know exactly how to time their effort, and frankly, 9.5 kilometres remaining in the race and only 17 seconds to defend. It's game over, but he's done all he could. As soon as the trio of riders started bickering amongst themselves, Kaiser got fed up with it and went on his own. So you could ask no more of him than that on the day. Tinkoff Saxo then, working for Peter Sagan. They're the big sprint train on the front at the moment. Look out for Orica Green Edge, buried a little bit further back behind Team Sky. They're working for Caleb Ewan. Kaiser being offered some encouragement by the horsemen of Andalusia. It's not going to happen from here, though, is it? This is
no, not this. I mean, this is always a problem on the roads. This is a classic sort of Vuelta situation where they finish on these big dual carriageways, if you like. And there's very few races left that do that. But in Spain, they've often done this. I don't think they really care about closing down these big roads. But it does mean for a lone breakaway, it doesn't stand much chance, because instead of just having one team chasing him down, it's big enough the road to have 3 or 4 teams spread across, drag racing each other, and positioning so easy. I mean, you'll see, I think, when we pan back to the peloton, there will be kind of the teams. It's so wide. You see how wide the road is. You've got Katusha on the left, got Tinkoff, got Movistar on the right, got Lampre in the middle, and MTN coming up as well. He really doesn't stand a chance.
And he's sitting up, pulling over to the left-hand side of the road and allowing the bunch to sweep him up. So altogether then, with 8.8 kilometres remaining, the bunch sprint is on, as we knew all along, frankly, it would be today. This is too good an opportunity for the likes of John Degenkolb, Nasser Bouhanni et al. To forego. Chris Froome maintains his position, just on about 3rd or 4th wheel, just making sure that he's in the right place should anything untoward happen in this long line, as the pace is picked up all the time. Tinkoff Saxo then doing their own thing, moving to the other side of the road with Peter Sagan in 4th wheel. Still Katusha, just one of the GC teams, not really working, I wouldn't imagine, for the sprint today. And MTN Quebecer continuing their effort on the
on the left
here
coming up, there's the Orica Green Edge team coming up with Caleb Ewan. That's I think it's Matt Heyman and Kukler, I think, who are leading him out. But 3Ks to go. It's still a little bit far with only 2 riders to go. But they're probably just keeping him safe, putting him in position, and then going to allow him to kind of do his own thing.
A word or two about the finishing kilometre. They go over an iconic bridge, the Dragon Bridge. That'll be very easy to identify when you see it, as Orica Green Edge continue to work there for Caleb Ewan, and John Degenkolb's team are on the other side of the road. And then it gets interesting. Once they've gone over the bridge, the road just drags up. You couldn't call it a climb, but it's a bit more than a false flat. It's a properly kind of testing last 700 metres. We're led to believe with a little kink in it as well, with 150 to go.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of sprint is actually kind of, it's good. It's a little bit safer, because it's only the strong guys can be involved, and it does string the bunch out a little bit more. So rather than when it's pan flat, it is just here you have Orica Green Edge coming across. They'll now try and take that side of the road and just hold it. So Orica Green Edge on their own on the front now, and the second team behind them is the team of John Degenkolb, Giant Alpecin. You can see Movistar, and Chris Froome is still up there, very prominent. The white jersey of Tom Dumoulin is still involved, and of course he lies very close to the lead of the Vuelta, just 5 seconds down on Esteban Chavez himself. 1.9 kilometres remaining now, and a big effort from Orica Green Edge, really believing and backing their man Caleb Ewan on his first Grand Tour now. So you see what's going to happen now, because Caleb's in 3rd position. He's a very little rider. That's one of the reasons he's so fast, is the fact he's so aerodynamic. I've got another rider coming up, because the moment Matt Heyman, who's on the front, he's going to have to pull off soon. He's already done about 2 kilometres. So when he pulls off, there you go, there goes Matt Heyman. Kukler's come up with a perfect time to replace him, which means that Caleb's still got his lead-out man, which is Mitch Docker, who's in 2nd position. So now they're going to sit there, but they've still got a K&a-half. He's got to hope Kukler is great, or they're going to have to piggyback the Tinkoff or Giant train when they come by, because it's still a little bit too far out with just 2 riders in front of Caleb.
So here they go there, they're heading towards the bridge. That's Matt Heyman there. He's popped off that Orica Green Age effort, and Jill just going to sit up now with Kirkelaire and Docker leading out Caleb Ewan. Giant Alpecin for now as the road starts to kick up. As the road, they head towards this bridge. And the final kilometre, 900 metres to go now. The road swings around to the left. Caleb Ewan in third wheel. Peter Sagan in fifth. There's a Tinkoff Saxo rider between the two of them. And Giant Alpecin are, well, they've been pushed right off the front. Degenkolb now is in about 12th wheel.
There you go, that's perfect. That's Caleb. Caleb's taking Sir Peter Sagan's wheel, so that's quite... Tinkoff have come by, and Mitch Docker, you see him fighting with Sagan there. This is actually the perfect situation now for Orica Green Edge. Look, Mitch Docker is on the left there. There's only one lead-out man left for each rider, with the Lamprey rider there in the middle. So now Mitch is going to have to go. Sagan's now using the Orica Green Edge. Well,
this is all set up, surely, for Peter Sagan to pull off another win. He's on the Orica Green Edge train. On his wheel, though, is Caleb Ewan. Rikese is there. Jempi Drucker is there. And here comes Degenkolb, being led out by Koen de Koort. Degenkolb now looming large. He's got past Sagan. Sagan has latched straight onto his wheel as he did last time, and Ewan has in between the two of them. The road continues to rise now. Continues to rise all the way to the finish line. Now Ewan opens up his sprint. He's past Sagan. It looks like Sagan is beaten on this occasion. Ewan powering to the line. He's going to get there first and take his first big win on his first Grand Tour. 21 years old, and he takes the scalp of Degenkolb and of Peter Sagan. A brilliant, brilliant ride.
Well, it's brilliant. So I saw Chris Froome was right up there in the top 15, so there might be some little time gaps. And here you go, you see on the right coming up, that's Mitch Docker. So you've got Tinkoff Saxo rider leading out Sagan, but there goes Mitch Docker on the right. He didn't realise that Caleb Ewan wasn't on his wheel. He's in fourth position. But what was intelligent about Caleb, he didn't go with his man, which is where Sagan, you see, is in second position. He was left a bit isolated. Now you're going to see coming up on the left, here comes the giant riders. That's Koen de Koort, I think, leading out John Degenkolb. And watch in a second, that's where it pulls out. And see Caleb's just riding the wheels perfectly. John Drucker comes by, and then it's like mano a mano. Degenkolb leading, Caleb on his wheel, Peter Sagan in third position. And now you'll see, wait, in a second, Caleb Ewan, he senses that John Degenkolb just slows it a little, and watch the kick he does. I mean, this is incredibly impressive. That's when Caleb actually, for the first time, unleashes his sprint, and even Peter Sagan can't do anything about it. And that's what we've seen in the past from Caleb Ewan, and that's why they signed him, and everyone believes in him. You can see the strength in him there, just the way he's talking. I mean, like, the other guys are all weakening, getting tired. He's just pushing down all the way to the finish line. You see everyone else just kind of losing, dropping their heads. He never drops his head once, Caleb. Just his eyes were just fixed on that finish line the whole time.
So here's the results, and as David suspected, there were indeed gaps at the finish. Only the first four, Ewan, Degenkolb, Sagan and Drucker, were given the same time. 2 seconds behind them was a group of riders which included Danny Moreno, Chris Froome and Tom Dumoulin, but none of the rest of the top 10. So everyone from Joaquin Rodriguez to Alejandro Valverde lost 6 seconds, including Esteban Chavez, who only had a 5-second lead over Tom Dumoulin at the start of the day. Now here's the split. Dumoulin in white with a couple of riders behind him, then a clear 1 second gap to Rodriguez, who has Chavez just behind him in the red jersey. And once there's a gap, the actual time split is from the front of the group ahead, not the back. That's why it's 6 seconds. The man responsible for stringing out the field, with some help from the rising terrain, was Caleb Ewan, wrongly accused of causing Vincenzo Nibali's crash, crashing himself earlier in the week, and now a Grand Tour stage winner at the age of 21.
The first couple of days have been quite tough, and it was disappointing getting so close to the team time trial victory at the start, but you know, I felt really good today, and my team did, you know, an awesome job today. You probably saw them lead me in perfect position at the bottom of the climb, and you know, when you don't have to make up positions up a hard finish like that, it makes all the difference in the end.
So instead of an oversized red jersey today, Esteban Chavez was awarded only the oversized white one.
Esteban, I guess the price for the victory of the man standing next to you is not defending the red jersey today. How do you feel about that?
I'm happy. I'm really happy for Caleb. This guy, the first stage is suffering a lot. Really, these long climbs in the first stages, this guy's suffering, and now one victory for him. I'm really happy for him. For sure, the team is really happy. Today the work is stay with him, work for him, and try for keep the red jersey. The final, I lose the jersey for 1 or 2 seconds, but anyway, it's only 2 seconds.
In 4 road stages, Peter Sagan has now finished first, second and third, and his lead in the points competition is up to 25. Now, you heard Ned and David recount the story of Ben King's missing bike computer and near loss of his bike to an enthusiastic spectator yesterday. He remembered to keep all his personal belongings with him today, although it wasn't easy.
Actually, quite a few riders in the peloton snuck up behind me and grabbed my Garmin off the bike today, which I thought was pretty funny. They thought they were being pretty clever, and it got to the point that it was pretty annoying.
Well, what did the guy say to you yesterday?
He said, "I'm going to the finish, you stay here because you're injured." He didn't look fit enough to make it to the final with the peloton. I'm not sure exactly, so better me than him, but yeah. In the moment it wasn't funny. I wasn't listening to him. I was searching for my Garmin on the ground. I was looking for my bike, trying to get untangled and just continue with the race. So I wasn't laughing then. After the fact, after I saw the video and how much attention it got, everything, it's hilarious. So.
Now here, rather unexpectedly, is the new general classification, and Tom Dumoulin is at the top of it. Chavez is now second by a second. Nicolas Roche remains 15 seconds behind him. Alejandro Valverde remains fifth behind Dan Martin, but Danny Moreno and Chris Froome are 6 seconds closer to him. They're up to 6th and 7th, with Joaquim Rodriguez and Nairo Quintana slipping to 8th and 9th. Fabio Aru remains 10th. So finally a race leader the same size as the race leader's jersey. A late season bonus for Tom Dumoulin, who targeted yellow at the Tour only to crash out.
Tom, how low were you that day at the side of the road, badly hurt in the Tour, and how good is it now?
It's highs and lows. So yeah, I was in a really bad place at the Tour de France, and yeah, now I'm in a really good place. So yeah, it's a complete world of difference.
And people think of you, of course, as a time trialist. We know you're much more than that. What's in it for you in the rest of this Vuelta?
Yeah, of course there is a time trial. So I'm actually that's my main goal this Vuelta. That was it before, but now I have this jersey and I'm gonna try to defend it as long as possible. And then yeah, who knows where it brings me. I think the first mountain stage, or the first actual stage after the team time trial, I think I showed that I'm in really good shape, and yeah, I'm just trying to hold this.